So I almost got scammed out of thousands of dollars. And the scariest part about it all is
I didn't even see it coming.
I didn't want to make this video, but I feel like I have to, because if it almost worked on me, it's surely going to work on someone else. So if you're a musician who gigs or plays out live, tour, does sessions, any of that type of stuff, make sure to watch this. So here's where it all started. I get an email from someone named Stella who supposedly works for Insight Software. She's emailing saying that they're hosting a corporate event in Chicago and wanted to know if I was available to come play a 40-minute set at their event. I reply back and I say, hey, I'm not an artist. I am just a sideman musician who gets hired to tour and do gigs and sessions, that type of deal. So I asked her, are you looking for someone to fill in for your house band or, back up another artist? Because honestly, that would make more sense. And she replies back and says, no, they're just looking for an acoustic artist to come and play a 40-minute set for a mixed crowd and mixed genres and that type of deal. In her email, she provides me the name of the company, Insight Software, the name of the event, where the event is held at, and the address, and the date and time. So I do what I normally do when I get these type of emails, and I Google to see if it's legit. And I see that Insight Software is a real company. They are hosting an event January 31st in Chicago, and it's actually happening where she said it was and at the exact date and time. And although I'm thinking, okay, this is a little weird, because why would you hire a guitar player from Nashville and fly him out there and spend all this extra money when you could probably find someone in Chicago that could do the exact same thing? Especially because there's nothing really on my booking pages that specify that I'm an acoustic artist. I normally play electric guitar. But in the years past, I had actually traveled around. I did acoustic solo acts. So I was thinking, okay, maybe she's seen some of my old content and that's how she found me. So again, nothing too out of the ordinary yet. So I reply back and I say, hey, I looked into everything. Yeah, this sounds good. I should be available for that date. And she replies back and she says, great, what are your normal rates? So I tell her my normal rates, $150 a set plus airfare and travel. And she replies back and she says, well, this is a corporate event, so we're willing to pay you $500, plus we'll cover all your travel and expenses. So right now I'm thinking, wow, that's a lot of money just to come to Chicago and play a 40-minute set. But again, I have worked for corporate events before and they pay ridiculous amount of money for ridiculous things all the time. So I'm thinking, all right, this is a little odd, but nothing that's really standing out to me too much yet. So I take all this information and I send it to my buddy who is a booking manager for major acts here in town. And I say, hey, have you heard of like any type of scams going on? And I send him all the screenshots of everything going on. I was like, should I be suspicious? He replies back to me and says, no, it sounds pretty legit to me. I haven't heard of anything like this. He goes, you should be good. Just make sure you get at least half up front and make sure you cover all your bases. So we send a few more emails back and forth, and she mentions a chauffeur service that's going to drive me to the event and pick me up and take care of all my travel. And so I respond back and I say, hey, is it okay if I just fly there and I can be reimbursed for my flight? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, why would I ride with some rando from Nashville, Tennessee to Chicago? Because that's how it came across in her email. And I'm thinking, whoa, stranger danger. I ain't doing that. So she replies back and she says, no, her company doesn't reimburse for travel. However, the third-party chauffeur service is a company that they'll hire to take care of my flights and my airfare and booking my hotel and my transportation from the hotel to the event and back to the airport. So now I'm feeling pretty relieved. I'm like, okay, this makes way more sense. Because again, with these type of events, that's pretty normal that they would have someone that takes care of all your travel and your expenses for you. So I'm feeling pretty good. I had confirmation from my buddy who books artists and bands for a living. I did all the research, everything checked out. I'm feeling pretty good. So I say, okay, we're good to proceed. Go ahead and send me over the contract and looking forward to seeing you on the 31st. So I send this email about 7:30 or 8 at night. And I get a reply back on Monday from an email, a separate email from Stella, and it was titled Insight Software. I didn't check the address. I probably should have. That would have been my first red flag. But it had the logo and everything to Insight Software from what I Googled. It all looked legit. and it had a contract. So I read through the contract. The contract looks like a pretty legally binding contract. I'll post it up here on the screen. It was pretty short, but I mean, it looked pretty legit, nothing to stand out. So I signed the contract and I sent it back. About 30 minutes later, I get an email from Stella and she said, "Hey, I received your signed contract from someone in our organization and thank you for sending that over. Everything looks good." And then she said, "We were going to be sending you a check for $1,500, $500 for your artist fees, and then another $1,000 to cover your travel and your expenses." So now I'm thinking, whoa, hold up. This no longer makes sense, because if you remember before in our previous email, she said they don't reimburse artists and that they are going to cover all my travel. And now she's wanting to give me the money to go pay the third-party travel agency. So I'm like, something's not adding up here. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So now we're really starting to have problems and we're having red flags. Then what's really crazy is about 5 minutes later, I get an email from a totally separate organization, separate person, offering almost the exact same thing, wanting me to come play a corporate event out of town and wanting to know my availability. It was almost the exact same email, but through someone else. So now I'm thinking, all right, this was weird enough first time. There ain't no way this is happening twice. So now I'm feeling in my mind, I'm like, man, something ain't right here. So then Stella emails me back and she says, "Hey, we're going to send you out an e-check. Can you provide me with your name and your banking information and we'll send you the e-check?" And then that was when it immediately kind of stood out, like, bro, I'm getting scammed. So if you remember back years ago, the old eBay check scam, to where someone would buy something with a check and let's say it was $500 and then they would send you a check for $800 and they would say, "Hey, I'm really sorry, I wrote the check for the wrong amount. Can you send me back the extra $300? And you would send it, and then the original $800 check would bounce, and you would be out that $300. It's that same old scam that they're doing again. Except for this time, the way it was working was they were wanting to send me $1,000 to pay my chauffeur's fees. So I would pay the $1,000 to the chauffeur, and then that $1,500 check they sent me would bounce, and they would have just stole $1,000 from me. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, no. But the craziest part about all of this is I just watched a video from Justin Ostrander on this not too long ago, and I watched the entire video because he had something similar happen to him. And after watching his video, I knew all the signs to look out for, and I thought, man, this should never happen to me. But in this case, everything seemed so legit. She had a pretty ordinary sounding name. All of the emails were very well written. They seemed like good, proper English, like how a professional company would operate. The craziest thing is I worked through the day, so I would respond back at like night, and all of the emails from her came during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, from like 9 to 5 p.m. And we had emailed back and forth several times over the course of like a week and a half. Everything about it seemed like I was talking to a normal person like you and I. Nothing stuck out to me like this is a scam. So that's why I'm making this video, because I thought I knew everything to look out for, and I still almost got scammed. And so the whole purpose of this video is I don't want this happening to you. So if you've ever had anything similar to this happen, drop it in the comments below, so that way other people can learn about your experiences. And if you know of any other musicians, be sure to tag them in this video and share it to them, so that way they know the signs to look out for. We work really hard for what we do and to get our gigs, and it's really disappointing when we think that we have something really legit, like a good gig, and it turns out to be a scam. But it's even worse when they actually end up taking our hard-earned money from us. So let's look out for each other, and let's get this word around. Hey, I hope you guys had some good holidays. I'm Brandon. Like I said, I play here in Nashville, and looking forward to moving into 2026 with you guys. Hey, y'all take care, and I'll catch you around the next one.